Welcome to the A-Train Show. And now here's your host, the A-Train, Arlington Lane.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the A-Train Show, the A-Train, Arlington Lane. My goodness, Association Monday is here, folks, and you know what that means. Everything association's going down today here on the A-Train Show. Thanks to our great sponsors over at Just Meat Jerky, W Energy Powder, and a new sponsor we're adding to the mix, True Victory. Thank you so much for being a part of Fuel Sports Network. Folks, if you haven't got a chance yet, you haven't got a chance to get on this, you can go to Fuel Sports Network on your Roku televisions, your devices, on your Amazon Fire Sticks, and of course, we're powered by Gateway City Sports. All right. Man, what a weekend for the association. That means not just the NBA, but the WNBA too. It's been a big weekend so far for both leagues, and what can I say? Everything is turning, everything is changing, and this is a time where if you are a basketball fan, you need to be tuned in because we just had 2 Game 7s. I'm gonna touch in a little bit about that, especially about the Pacers and the Timberwolves going on the road. This is the first time in NBA history that 2 road teams won a Game 7 on the same day. Yesterday, 2 road teams won their Game 7 games on the road on the same day, and both of them were prolific. Both of them. So I'm going to get myself together. Give me 2 minutes. When we come back, we'll break these things down, and we'll definitely talk a little bit more about it in detail. All right. You can jump on and hop on with me in the conversation. And if you get a chance, share this out to those that are on social media, and definitely we will have a great time with it. All right. So you stick around. We'll be back with more of the A-Train Show right here on Fuel Sports Network.
If you aren't perfect, if you've ever struggled, if you've ever failed, if you want to get better, be better, and make our world better, this is the perfect brand for you. True Victory. Founded by U.S. military veterans, True Victory is a sportswear and streetwear brand dedicated to building everyday champions on and off the field. We're a cause. Our purpose is to transform lives and elevate humanity through the power and unity of sports, positive stories, and serving others. We're dedicated to the game, the grind, and the globe. But most importantly, we're dedicated to you. That's what it means to be always true.
Same great taste. Yes, same great taste. Same great taste.
Back on this edition of the A-Train Show, the A-Train Arlington Lane. Oh my goodness, that music means it's nothing but chaos here on the docket. And where can I begin? Do I want to start in the East or do I want to start in the West? You know what? The hell with it. Let's go ahead and start with the West. In the Western Conference, because it was the biggest game. Both of them were big games, but by far, I think it was the biggest game of Sunday was the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Denver Nuggets. Anthony Edwards made sure of it. He said Game 7 is forthcoming, and even though he did not deliver, he made big shots in that matchup, and play of Josh McDaniels, also the play of Karl Anthony Towns. A lot of people were questioning him if he was going to even do anything in this matchup, and he did. He came up and he showed out, and they pulled off the biggest upset. Yes, it's Association Monday, and that's what I love about it. They pulled off the big upset win over the Denver Nuggets, 98-90, and you know what? I was very ecstatic I'm ecstatic for this Minnesota Timberwolves team because it looks like they have the pieces needed to become a championship contender. A lot of people, in my opinion, I did not see them as a championship contender yet. I still thinking that second round was where they were headed. Western Conference Finals is where they're headed now. But this team has a great opportunity to get into the NBA Finals for the very first time. Last time they were in the West Finals was 2004 with Kevin Garnett. I should have found that there's a video with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. Pierce asked them, so if the Celtics and the Timberwolves make the finals, who you choosing? I have to find that clip. I really do, because it was hilarious. If somebody can find that clip for me, that would be perfect. And tell me where I can go to find it, because I I laugh at that clip because basically it was Garnett saying, I'm cheering with both teams. It's not gonna matter. I'm going to cheer for both sides. If the Timberwolves win, yeah, that's big, man. That's big stuff, man. Yeah. If something's win, yeah. It's big stuff, baby. I love it. And I'm sitting back and I'm looking at it, and I said, you know what? He is probably the only individual on the planet that can say that he can cheer for both teams because he has an association with both. He won a title with the Celtics back in 2008, and then his long tenured career, his tenure, I should say, in Minnesota, where the last time they were featured in the conference finals was 2004. So you know what? I can't deny that. But one of the things last night, a couple things from last night that kind of messed with me a little bit was, first off, my guy Anthony Edwards and the little exchange between him and Charles Barkley. And if you haven't seen it, this is what that looked like.
I have not been to Minnesota in probably 20 years.
Bring gas.
Hey,
bring gas.
You can't get any better than that, man. Yeah, it's funny though, because Charles has been talking about different cities throughout the season, and man, folks, I think people need to start realizing the end is near for inside the NBA. Okay, the end is really near for this program. It's been around for over 35 years, and the final season is upon us. This it. The swan song is here. The Western Finals, which is, I think, the perfect the perfect spot in the matchup. And I know people looking at this like it don't seem like it's a great one. It's going to be a fun matchup between the Wolves and the Dallas Mavericks, who won their series over the Oklahoma City Thunder 4-2, and they won in thrilling fashion on 117-116. What's going on, Wyatt? Yeah, this is seeing that is like I'm grateful to see new teams in this finals mix. Like, this is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, the 6th different team in the NBA finals. There's going to be a different champion, and this is going to happen for the 6th year in a row, and it hadn't happened in over 40 plus years. So that's good for the NBA, is having different markets that you don't normally hear winning NBA titles, like Toronto and Milwaukee, Denver, of course. That is where the league should be going, where somebody new is now at the top of the mountain. That's good for the league. That happened in Major League Baseball, where baseball with 10 different teams had won the World Series. And I think it was around a span of 78 to 87. But that's good for the league when different markets are winning World Series, or that's different when different markets are winning championships, world championships. So, I mean, it's always good to see that. And it was great seeing that game. I was on the edge of my seat. I'm at work watching this game, and I'm screaming. I got coworkers looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, okay, it's all right. I said, you just don't understand. This game was a lot. And they were down 20 points, Minnesota. They were down 20 in the third quarter. When it got to 72-72 in the fourth, and Conley hit that 3, Minnesota never gave up the lead again. They never gave up the lead again after that. As soon as that happened, it was a wrap. And I think there was one play. I think they were up 5. No, they were up 7. And Karl Anthony Towns threw a pass, was trying to take it, go sideline to sideline, and make a pass inbounds, and he wound up making a turnover. One of the things that the broadcasters had said was, call a timeout. You had 2 of them. And you make that you didn't know at that moment, because Denver could have gone on a run. But one thing I heard, I think it was Charles Barkley that said last night that Jokic was tired. He was tired. And then for Jokic and Jamal Murray to both score 30 points is good, because everybody else didn't do anything, or they didn't do what they were supposed to do. I don't think anybody else got over 10. And then if they did, it was somebody that you didn't expect in the box score that would have that type of number, because those two, you think 30 points apiece for them, and they get a dub. Nobody else on the. Aaron Gordon, 4 points in 42 minutes. Michael Porter Jr., 7 points in 34 minutes. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope had, I think, his basket early in the game. 5 points in 40 minutes. And what happened to Justin Holiday? Justin Holiday was the guy that got this team at least to the 6th game with his shooting. He didn't have a basket. 9 minutes. But one thing about that matchup was the press conference with Mike Malone. And I saw a bit of sour grapes with this. I need your thoughts. You take a look.
How hard is it just to absorb a loss like this after going ahead by 20?
Next question, man. The season's over. That's what's hard. Fuck being up 20. The season's over. You don't understand that. The season's over. It's hard. Stupid ass questions.
A little bit of sour grapes, man. Like, for real, dude. Like, you sitting there talking smack. All last year, all last year. No, you need to take that thumping. You needed to take that. And it demoralizing loss like that at home. No, explain yourself. Why your team couldn't hold on to a 20-point lead. From what I saw, like it was stated, Jokic was tired. Like he felt like he had to do everything, but that's what got him a title the first time. Him carrying the team on his back. Jamal Murray, in that game had 35. And he had like 20, he had something over 20 points in the first half. And all the rest of those points, it started coming. But at the same time, that fourth quarter, where was he? Where was he? But I got to give credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves here. Minnesota did a fantastic job kind of keeping everybody else off and letting Jokic and Murray go off. And that's how I always felt that teams should do. If you have a team with two superstars and they're doing everything, that means they're going to be overworked. And as long as the supporting cast is not doing their job or you're shutting them down, you can get dubs. Everybody knows for real that Jokic, when he scores more and it's not passing the rock, he's not being a distributor, they lose more. And when he's scoring more, that means he got to do more of the work. When he's a distributor, everybody is fed. Nobody can really get fed in that game 7. He had 7 assists to go along with the 19 rebounds and 34 points. And there's nothing wrong with seeing the MVP go down, in my opinion. Denver was the head hunted, and Minnesota was able to do it. They never gave up. And that's what the cool thing was about it. So congratulations to the Minnesota Timberwolves, one step closer to an NBA championship, and they'll go against Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, who themselves had a 117-116 win against Oklahoma. Big ups to President of Basketball Operations, Kalia Collier, for those that are in St. Louis. Terrific job with this organization. And, you know, many had said at the beginning of the year, or beginning of the playoffs, you don't want to play Dallas. And they have knocked off both of their matchups. I think it was the Clippers and now the number 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder, who is a young team, and they did very well. It's just that right now it's not their time. Hopefully we will see them back again, doing damage in the playoffs. SGA, who I thought should have been the MVP, was doing work throughout that whole series and just came up short. And they're going to have some work to do for next season. I know a lot of Seattle fans were happy at the fact that the Thunder did lose, and they like that every time that they lose, because they still feel that the Sonics should still be in Oklahoma. I mean, in Seattle, Washington. So, excuse me. So, yeah, that's the thing, man. But that's what these playoffs are so great, man. I'm going to take a quick timeout, and when I come back, just give me 2 minutes. I'll be back, and when we come back, I'll talk about the Pacers and the Knicks and why people should give the Knicks a pass. Give the Knicks a pass just a little bit. All right, so we'll stay tuned. We'll be back right after this. 2 minutes. More the A-Train Show right here on Fuel Sports Network.
the money and fame. Stay ready, making sure that they remember my name. I got a hunger inside when the numbers are tied. Yo, I'ma turn it up a level, never will be denied.
Same great taste. Yes, same great taste. Same great taste.
Welcome back to this edition of the A Train Show, the A Train Arlington Lane. Getting all the kinks together here at the A Train Show here on Fuel Sports Network. Hey, folks, make sure that you go and you grab the Fuel Sports Network app. You can get it off your Roku devices. You get it on Amazon Fire Stick. And, of course, we're powered by Gateway City Sports. You saw that too, right? I was hoping you didn't see that. It is all right. Guess what? Everything is fine. Everything is okay. All right. I wanted to get that out of my system, man. All right. Shout out to my program director, JTK, Kevin Womble, man. Thank you so much, man, for what you've been doing. And it's an honor having you on board. And everybody over at Fuel Sports Network, this team is where it's at. It's growing, and we're about to do some amazing things. So you just stay tuned because things are about to get better. It's about to get wilder. And I'm excited for all of it. I'm excited for all of it. So I'm just hoping that you guys remain on board and stay with us for just a little while. Just give us a little time. We're going to get all the kinks together and whatnot, and we'll put out a wonderful product for you sports fans for sure. All right. I want to touch a little bit on the Knicks and Pacers. That guy right there, Tyrese Halliburton. If you look at the shirt there, it has Reggie Miller and his hands up to his neck, indicating the Knicks choking, and that Tyrese Halliburton is now part of this Pacers-Knicks rivalry. And I like that. It heats it up. That's just me. It intensifies that matchup for when they come together again in the playoffs. That right there. There was somebody that went online and said he's trying too hard as a villain. If he's just sitting there with the shirt on, that's not trying hard. He's just showcasing what historians and basketball players know about the history, even though Tyrese Halliburton, I don't even think was around when he wasn't. He wasn't even around the time when the Pacers and the Knicks fought in the playoffs. But when you learn that history, you're going to be a part of that history. And now you got the matchup, Pacers and the Knicks. You're expecting 7 games, and we're grateful for 7 games for that series. A lot of people wanted to see the Knicks go against the Celtics, but in this case, the Pacers was able to do it. And I got into a little bit of a spat with a video journalist about it. I'm not going to refer to him by name. He was saying that I said the Knicks had laid an egg in this game. And he was like, I disagree. That was about the Pacers making shots, and they did what they were supposed to get the win on the road. And I retorted back, and I was saying, if you're getting open shots, now if they were up, if the majority of those shots were contested, you got a point. But a lot of them were wide open shots, and the Knicks weren't moving when those shots were being made, because 80% in the first half, or close to 80% shooting in the first half, you're not defending. And Tom Thibodeau is a defensive-minded coach. He's a very defensive-minded coach. And so we agreed to disagree on that. And I still feel that when you have a team like that, the Knicks, who were highly tutored, and then it made matters worse when Jalen Brunson went down. Josh Hart was playing hurt. So it's like saying you're giving them a pass. Yeah, because they weren't at full strength at all. And they played hard. They got it hard enough where they got to a 7th game, and they pretty much ran out of gas when it got to game 7. I'm going to give him a pass. Didn't have Mitchell Robinson, of course, didn't have Julius Randle. OG Anunoby was hurt, but he actually went out there and played. So as much as I want to sit there and give Pacers credit for taking advantage of that, but the Knicks can get a pass for their injuries. Now, if they weren't injured and they play like that, all bets are off. The Knicks would get that work because you were at full strength and you still couldn't pull it off. But they were hurting, and they did everything they could to get the dub, but they fell short pretty badly by over 20 points. But it does showcase that this Knicks team can get the dub. If they're at full strength, I think they're fine. Just there are a lot of injury prone guys. You need somebody that can another player that can take the slack off of these guys when they can't play. A veteran like, and this is who I believe is a good whatever. I think a guy like a Jeff Green that's in Houston, I get it, he's older and whatnot, but he can still play solid basketball right now. You need a vet like that, that can get you over the hump if you need it and get a bucket. Now, there are guys that's out there. Like, what happened? Oh, that's right. My man got traded. See, you know what? I really believe if RJ Barrett was still on this squad, I think they could have got over the hump. But they traded him. But that's just me. Your thoughts always are welcome here in the comment section. But the Pacers, they get the Boston Celtics, who themselves can't win on the road. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Celtics team handles their games at home, but they wonderful on the road in the playoffs. Like, it's like they'd rather go on the road in the playoffs and do work instead of doing it at home. So you got a young team with the Pacers here with Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner. That is a nice duo to have. Pascal Siakam, who has championship experience with the Toronto Raptors back in 2019. So, interestingly enough, this is going to be a fun matchup. Pacers, Celtics, Mavs, Wolves. It don't seem like it, But if you watch the teams themselves, they're fun to watch. And I hope that everybody gets a chance to watch it. ESPN and ABC got the East Finals, and then Turner has it didn't. Yeah, and see, Anubi did play all but 4 minutes. It didn't help. But TNT, True TV, Turner, the Turner family has the Western Conference Finals, and this might be the final season we ever see inside the NBA. I have to say that because everybody is now in doubt, and everybody is knowing the inevitable is coming. So you're hoping that we get 7 games of this West Final, and I know those teams do not care for the fact about inside the NBA. They're just trying to get to the NBA Finals the quickest way possible. But I hope 7 games comes out of this, and we get to see Chuck, Shaq, and Kenny act up a few more times with Ernie Johnson, because of that was an institution for a long time. 35 years doing that is, and Ernie came in the second year, so he's been doing it 34. And I think Shaq has done it over 10. Kenny has done it over 20. And I think Chuck is right there on the cusp of 20, like the teeter-tottering just under 20 or above 20. He's right there. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's about to happen. And a lot of reports are coming out that Warner will not match the bid, and that NBC has won the bid. And that was an institution. You know, they did a whole documentary. Maybe they start seeing the light before we saw it. So, I mean, this is it. And these playoffs, we should have great series here. Pacers and Celtics do match up. So it's going to be interesting to see how well those teams get together. I'm not going to go through what the matchups were beforehand. Just know, believe me, it's a great playoff series forthcoming. All right. And I'm looking forward to seeing Tatum and Brown and see if they actually can get over the hump. If they can get over the hump for the first time, get back to the finals like they did back in 2022 against the Golden State Warriors, that'd be great to see again. And I think this time, Tatum, this is it for the Celtics. This is really it. I get it. Brown got that big extension, but if they don't win, they went and got Porzingis to help out on the outside. And, you know, you got Al Horford, who is getting older himself, and he wants a ring just as bad as anybody else. And a lot of people are questioning the Joe Mazzulla, if he really is this coach for this team, if he really can guide this squad to an NBA championship. That's going to be the key here. And can Jason Tatum get over those old playoff struggles and show out to a way that they're hoisting a championship in TD Bank North Garden? Or he's bringing one back to TD Bank North Garden. Because he'll be criticized a lot if this Celtics team doesn't win a championship. So it's championship or bust for this Celtics team. Pacers are playing with house money, in my opinion. The Wolves are too, and so are the Mavs, because nobody expected them. But I think the Wolves are getting looked at higher than the Mavericks because they have built a championship contending team. They have built that. And it took time, and here they are. And I think Anthony Edwards has not missed the playoffs in his career yet. He's been in the playoffs every year. So, yeah, that's phenomenal. And I'm looking forward to both series and even the NBA Finals coming up. All right. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a bit about the WNY. part. I think it's a good thing for her, and I think she can overcome that in her rookie season. All right, so we're going to come back with more of the A-Train Show right after this. You're checking out Fuel Sports Network. All right, we'll be right back.
Same great taste. Yes, same great taste. Same great taste.
Back on this edition of the A-Train Show, the A-Train Arlington Lane. Yeah, I saw a comment coming in about the Pacers. Yeah, the Pacers, they did their thing. They did what they're supposed to do. As they always take the bet, or if you're betting, yeah, they will put up a noble fight against the mighty Celtics. I don't think they're gonna go down. They're gonna go away easily. I would not mind having 7 games for both these series as long as they remain entertaining. But I think they will because both squads will put up big fights in both series because they all want it. Like I said, the Pacers are playing with house money at this point, and only interesting to see what happens as we progress on during these playoffs. All right, time for the WNBA. So far, the champs, the Las Vegas Aces themselves, are still on top. They're right there with the New York Liberty, who themselves that were in the WNBA finals last season. They sit at 3-0 after another great win against the Indiana Fever on Saturday. I think, okay, this is the biggest thing I have. I have an issue. So you mean to tell me that the W, and I get it, she's the biggest player in the game. Yeah, and I'm touching on it. It's Caitlin Clark. We're surrounding everything around her, knowing that there are more players in this league, in this WNBA, than just her. But we chose to surround everything around her. And here's my thing. I get it. She is a once in a lifetime talent. But there are others in this league that are once in a lifetime talents. All right? There's others. But the marketing that the W chose was to, or let me not say the W, because the W didn't do that. ESPN did this. And that's my biggest issue with ESPN. Y'all chose whenever Caitlin is on, we gonna put her on every time. Not Angel Reese, not the WNBA MVP. That you show the aces in the nightcap or the second game, but priority is Caitlin Clark. And I know Caitlin does not want that type of energy because she just want to play ball. That's the narrative, and I understand why so many people are pissed off with ESPN. I get it, because they're just about narratives. And when you have narratives like that, it can become a problem. It can become a huge, huge problem. And so that's what's going to be the issue here with the league going forward. And I hope that changes. But I think they're already into where it's at right now. I think that's where they're headed. And don't get me wrong, man, she is a great talent. But she's going to take some major lumps. Like this one she took in the opening game.
Right up on her, so Caitlin getting by.
And then this one. Stewart laid her out. And that is, listen, I guess where I'm coming from is that we want to see her succeed, but she's done had to be the whole focal point of the year. She don't have to be that. Like, you got the Chicago Sky, right? With Angel Reese, who's doing her thing no matter what, whether you give her the attention or not. A'ja Wilson, who has spoken out about the matters and stuff. So these teams are gunning for her. They're gunning for Caitlin Clark. Like, they want to let her know this is not college. This is a totally different league. And so you're not going to be able to do what you have been doing in the college game and do that in the pro game, because we're going to come after you. It's that simple. And let's just say, got a comment here. It said, what's sad though is no matter who was responsible for building her up, they did that. She didn't. That's correct. She didn't. So who is paying the price for someone else is doing? They're going to tear her down now, just like they do with everybody else they build up. She's going to play ball regardless. She already has stated that she's going to stay off social media and stuff because she don't want to hear what's been said about her. Even though I think she do care about what's said about her. But at the same time, I'm looking at it as she shouldn't be. This is the W's problem. This is ESPN's problem. We're going to throw as many games out there to the point that people's going to get sick of it. Or she's going to have her fans and they're going to watch every game. And it's like, well, this is the way we're going to build up our audience for the W. This is how we're going to get more growth. We're just going to keep throwing games out there because everybody's going to want to see that. That's true. If that was the case, why did you put her on Amazon Prime for her home opener when it should have been on ESPN or CBS or ABC on a linear television network? It was a home opener. You want a big audience for that, right? It's like, nah, the Indiana Fever, Connecticut Sun, when she's on the road, we'll do that. which is cool. But at the same time, if you're pushing this narrative that we want Caitlin Clark on national TV every single night, then you put her on the biggest stage. You put her on ESPN, you put her on CBS. And when you watch Caitlin out there, she's already visibly frustrated. And it's just that's gonna happen a lot throughout the year. A lot, for sure. And hello. Okay. Sounds good to me. All right. That was my father popping in on the show. Yeah, so I want the W to succeed. I really do. And I want to see all the players in the league, all of them. And let's build around what they already have, right? The whole thing with Aja Wilson, the whole thing with her shoe deal and stuff, Angel Reese getting attention, Sue Bird been talking about it and stuff like that, and I want the whole nine. And you know what? And I'm hoping so, Jeremy. I really do, because growth has happened. They got the expansion teams with Golden State, Toronto next year. I'm ready for Houston, the Comets, to remake their return back to the WNBA, because there's a whole pool of players and they all want opportunities to play in this league. And we want to, again, I can't stress it out enough, the salaries are going to have to increase so these girls don't have to go play overseas and then come back home knowing that something may happen. And Caitlin is a tough player. Caitlin Clark is definitely a tough player. Oh, but she's been visibly frustrated at times. But you knew that when you got drafted. Playing with Aaliyah Boston, who is a star, that tandem is going to be something. That tandem is really going to be something as the season progresses. And when they find their groove, Indiana is going to be just as tough as anybody else in the W. But right now they're sitting at 0-3. The Sparks are sitting at 0-2. I guess if I'm looking at it right now, the teams that are supposed to be on the top are on the top. Those that are supposed to be in the middle are in the middle, and the teams are you expect to be at the bottom are on the bottom as we speak. All right. Yeah, that man, I guess I don't like really getting into all of that, but it's necessary. You know, they got a good slate of games coming on tonight. Connecticut and Indiana, they drop down at 7 Eastern. New York at 3-0, taking on Seattle. Tomorrow, Atlanta and Dallas on League Pass. Vegas and Phoenix on League Pass. You get to see them again. Sparks and the Mystics on League Pass. And then Indiana and Seattle on Wednesday from Seattle. Excuse me. And shout out to these local outlets that are putting out these WNBA games too. Because locally they need to also be seen, and because this is your team. The WNBA is a and I'm gonna go ahead and say that it's a league of opportunity. Some of you know where that comes from, but it's definitely a league of opportunity. So yeah, I can't wait to see how this league continues to grow. But I guess where I'm at is, since ESPN decided to make the attention on Caitlin Clark, and and all the commercials and stuff. It's goes like, well, why you hating on it? I'm not hating on it. The thing I wanted is to see everybody. That's what the W is supposed to be about. Not one person. It's about the entire league. That's my big thing. All right, I'm about to end the show here. Did it a little early today. That's okay. It's all right. All right, thanks to those that tuned in with me today. Wednesday, we're going to talk some wrestling. And for Wild Wednesday, get everybody up to date on what's going on in WWE. I'll even throw in some AEW as well. Catching up with what's going on with that. NXT, of course. I'm gonna really dab more into TNA. Really dab more into that and learn, because you can't really catch it per se. It's hard to find. You got to go online. You almost got to do like with NWA does, and they have their show on CW, and then the whole thing with next year is NXT is moving to the CW. They're going to network television for 2 hours. And this whole thing with SmackDown moving to cable again, and then, of course, with Raw moving to Netflix. Nothing but a game changer here. Big times in wrestling, and we'll make sure to discuss it on a Wednesday. So hopefully we'll be talking about a Pacers upset tomorrow. You might. You might. All right. So for just a little while, this is the A Train signing off. Thankful for my dad come in and mess with me a little bit while I was doing this show. So, he sees what I have Wednesday of the A Train show right here on Fuel Sports Network. All right. So long for now.